And I told her I don't care if he is her husband. Right now.
It's time to rise from the grave, pour yourself a cup, and enjoy the coffee crypt.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Coffee Crypt.
Good morning. Wow, bright and cheery. How you doing?
Cheery's good. Our logos are bright. We're bright. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I think I've decided instead of trying to refix the logo to make it work on a coffee cup, I'm just going to get one of my regular ones like this that doesn't have anything on it. And I'm just going to get some of our stickers and put it on there.
Beautiful. It's going to pop then.
I'm on theme though.
Absolutely.
And this comes into play later.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no to Ghostface. So
no, I think I have a Ghostface cup problem. I think I'm up to 4. The cup that Addie got me, I think is downstairs because I used it yesterday or this morning. But I have I'm up to 4 Ghostface cups. It's getting out of control.
Yeah, I don't know if I even pointed out because I got my popcorn bucket right there next to my.
Oh, I see him up there. Yeah.
I have to make. I wish I could. My desk wasn't this long L-shaped thing because then I might have to set them up because I want to have things back here, I know.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Remind me when we're done. And I want to show you something that I got as a gift recently that I think you're going to like. It's really cool.
Ooh, okay.
It's Scream related. That's the only reason I thought of but it's not episode related. So I'll just send you a picture when we're done.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The viewers going to be like, oh man, you're teasing us out.
I'm going to post it on my socials probably tomorrow.
There you go.
There's a couple. I took 2 pictures, that and I also got something else. So we're going to kind of kick this off with a pretty big channel announcement. So effective now, but you won't really see too much more until September. Poltergeysteve is an official co-host of Voices from the Mausoleum.
I'm here. Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah.
Did you plan that or was that
No.
No,
that's just the nerd in me was just this is the time to say it. And it literally I was possessed.
I love it so much. Perfect.
I swear I didn't plan it. I usually do some cheesy stuff to say, but no, that time.
That was a good one. No, that was a great one. Yeah, so Steve, obviously by this point, you guys are used to seeing Steve. Steve and I have been doing content for, I think, at least a year now, off and on. And then obviously this was our ongoing series. And we want to do more together. I want to have him more involved in the channel. And so he's going to be an official co-host. August is going to be pretty normal as far as content related stuff pending, unless you just feel, you just want to put up some stuff, then that's fine too. But I know we're specifically we're going to really kickstart some stuff in September. You're going to start seeing Steve and the lives that I do monthly. Those will be our lives now. The big series that I do, Influential Horror, I think, he's going to take on some of those so we can get more of those in a month. And some other stuff we talked about. What's some of the other stuff?
Yeah, I know you and I, we always kind of enjoy anytime that we get to talk about LGBTQ plus horror. So there's going to be maybe a little more queer horror content. We might get some panel discussions on it. We're going to kind of see how that evolves over time.
Yeah,
but that will start in September. I enjoy doing reviews and reactions to things. So whether they come out as shorts or just little, I know we thought about expanding the coffee breaks, so kind of the in-between things for Coffee Crypt. Yeah. So some of those reactions might maybe come out as a coffee break or something, or there's or maybe there's a big breaking news on something
just
in the horror world.
Or that you just need to get out there and say,
that might come out. I love horror television, so I'm going to probably do something regularly with stuff that comes out. I like the slasher series, all of the Walking Dead stuff. Trying to think what else has been coming I enjoy Chucky, Yellow Jackets, all the hot horror TV. I'm going to try to put out more content and talk about that. I'm just trying to think what else. I know you mentioned Influential Horror, the lives, and probably whatever else
so many more things, I think. But so it'll be really cool because it'll be, it won't be just stuff, with me. You'll have your own things and your own series, and just as much your channel as it is mine.
It's going to be a real team effort, which, I know we love working together. So that's kind of what birthed this idea.
Yeah. And so just to kind of revisit, when we talked originally about wanting to do a series together, a lot of the Coffee Crypt idea was your idea. And then we kind of grew it to talked about some things together. But like, for those of you who don't know, like, Steve edits all of the videos for the Coffee Crypt. He does all the thumbnails. He knows how to get into my YouTube and upload them and get them ready.
Got the codes.
We've oh my God. Like, hey, I'm going to text you in an hour. You should be ready.
Yeah, so I know how to get in, but Angel still
I still have to hit the yes, it's
factor.
me, and this is the yes.
That's a 2-factor let me in.
It's so silly, yeah. And so, I feel like we've known we worked really well together. We're friends. We talk about life outside of content, and so I feel really good, and I'm really excited about this for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the perfect storm of all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. So yeah, like Angel was saying, like September will kind of be the big push for a lot of the content, but like, because there's a lot of horror releases coming out over the summer, so
there's a lot.
You guys will probably see some shorts, maybe some coffee breaks, talking about things that are coming out in between, the episodes that we do together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All very good, exciting, happy things.
Stuff, so stay tuned. Yeah. But without much further ado, we have lots of trailers to talk about today.
What did you say? A trailer heavy? It's trailer heavy
episode. We only really have one news story, and everything else has just been like trailers. So it's been a pretty busy month of things that are getting teased out. So the first one that I threw on for our list was Dark Windows. It's going to be on demand for rent August 18th. I don't know if it's just going to be rent or you could purchase it, what have you. But the synopsis for that is a group of teenagers take a trip to an isolated summer house in the countryside. What starts as a peaceful getaway turns into a horrific nightmare when a masked man begins to terrorize them in the most gruesome ways. So you get your kind of average slasher setup, teens in a remote cabin summer house. It's a very beautiful house. So it's not really a cabin. It's like a mansion.
No, it's massive. Yeah.
It's massive. But the trailer opens up with like the loss of one of their friends, and they're kind of, it's like at a funeral or a wake. And then fast forward to kind of them getting together. So it's a little bit of, I'm trying to think of like a comparative movie. I mean, it's not quite I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I don't know, because they don't really let us know.
There's really not much. Yeah. It's a mystery.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed, I'll say, like, one major positive from this trailer. I liked the action of this. It feels like a very action-heavy slasher, which I really enjoy. Just people getting thrown around and, like, fighting for survival, and it really looks like it could be brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it gave me Scream vibes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments where I was kind of like, oh, like I feel like we've definitely had slashers coming out periodically, but this kind of feels like kind of going back to some things that we love that we don't get that much of anymore. Like it feels like like our older stuff, like you said, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, the urban legend in there. Scream, like the ones that are more because technically like Freddy and Halloween are considered slashers in certain circles. So, but this feels more of the other kind that I like. So I'm not like a massive slasher fan, but this looks like something that I think I'm going to probably really like. And the same thing as what you said, one of the things that I love about some of the Scream movies is how intense some of the chase scenes, the over the top fighting back and forth and getting away only to get something else happen. Like I live for that. And this looks like this could be a really, really good one. And I'm curious what the tie-in with the one that died, because it doesn't tell us anything. What's the purpose of that to the story and like how it all connects? And so I'm interested in that one.
Yeah, like were the friends involved? Was it kind of like a prom night revenge story?
Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty Little Liars, right? Like that's why I like slashers like this are fun because it's a whodunit.
It is. It's like a mystery slasher. Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like a Michael or Jason or a Freddy where you
already know.
Killer, right? It's just them killing people. But like this is like Scream. Like it's like you want to figure out who did it. And so that's kind of fun. So we're gonna have like some clue elements.
I'm excited. No, I think that one looks really, really good.
Definitely.
Yeah. And our second one is the Godzilla -1 teaser, which I didn't know was a thing until you said it was, and I was like, how did I miss that? I'm like, first of all, creature features in general, which Godzilla is like my second favorite subgenre under horror. Like I love stuff with monsters. Like I think I don't know if I was telling you this or if I was telling somebody else, but we just lost the head of our kaiju. And so like it put everything that, we have, like, so my son has like these little like 2-inch kaiju things. They're like, it's a couple of different ones, but anyway, but we're like really into that. Like he loves the Godzilla movies, the King Kong movies. So anyway, so really into Godzilla. And when I saw that you put this one, I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was a thing. So this is set to release in December 1st, but I think only in Japan, right? I
think just Japan, and then maybe we'll see, maybe we'll get like a limited release
here. And I mean, it's exactly what it says it is. It's a teaser. You get a foot shot and a face shot. And I will tell you, the face one, the one that it does it like right at the end where it cuts it off of the teaser, I was like, ooh, I'm in it.
He looks so good.
He looks amazing.
Ooh, like super spiky, very like,
I felt like I could feel his texture like through the, no, he looks beautiful. I'm such a God, like, we rewatch is it King of Monsters that has King Ghidorah in it? I think it's the King of Monsters, right? So King of Monsters is like our favorite one because we get to see the different ones and it's so fun. And so I'm like, anything Godzilla related, I'm like, I'm in it to win it because I think he's great. And so, but yeah, this looks really, really good. I'm very excited. How did it make you feel?
It's a period piece too, which is very exciting.
Oh, yes.
It's a post-war 40s.
Yes, Japan. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, which is really awesome, right? Like it's going to be like directly tied probably to the atomic bomb. Very funny that Oppenheimer has been is coming out this week. But yeah, no, it's going to be very directly tied to like Godzilla's like true origins with the bomb.
Yep.
And like you can even see like in his design, he's much more like grotesque, like you said, like that texture, like it just looks truly like
he's not smooth and cleaned up. He's very rugged,
he's very deformed and like he, from that radiation,
like he got messed up, like some things have happened. Like
so they're really gonna probably directly tie to like the bomb in Hiroshima to like this and like kind of that duality, and I'm in for that. So I think that's
sounds like it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to necessarily be prequel tied to any of the other things that are I think it might be its own.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
I'll watch it either way.
Absolutely. But so our next trailer is one that I'm very excited to talk about. So I know at the top of the show we talked about maybe doing some more queer content. So here is one for you. It's called the Big Easy Queens. So Big Easy is New Orleans, for those that don't know. So it's about a bunch of queens in New Orleans. And so I have a bit of a lengthy synopsis, so I'm going to try to get through it pretty quickly without butchering any of the drag queens' names because they are hysterical.
They are.
So entirely made in Florida, which is funny, and set in the steamy underworld, Big Easy Queens follows Minnie Bouvet, mob queen of the quarter, and her rivalry with her arch nemesis, Poodles Mackenzie. After Minnie Bouvet has Poodles Mackenzie's crew brutally slaughtered, she braces for the blowback, but what she doesn't expect, however, is to be stalked by a creepy masked figure who leaves behind bouquets of gardenias and terrifying notes. Is this Poodle's revenge or the work of Minnie's estranged sister who stole her man years ago and has suddenly reappeared in her life? So it's ridiculous. Yeah. So the trailer is giving you like B-movie like goofiness. It's giving you like, it feels like I was telling Angel before we started filming, it feels like a RuPaul's Drag Race like acting challenge, but with like a higher budget. Like it just has like that kind of vibe to it. Overacting. I mean, there was a Mommy Dearest reference where she's like, "Give me the axe." Yeah. So I'm all in for it.
It looks like funny.
I'm not familiar with any of the queens that are starring in it. unfortunately. But you know what? I'm excited. Surprise me. Therefore, I don't know what to expect from their acting. So I'm all in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on this one. This one looks hysterical. Like, I know when we saw, I think you saw the poster, the posting about it or something, you had sent it and you were like, definitely have to talk about this. Like, because this was like, this looks like it's going to be an absolute riot. It's kind of like a weird hodgepodge of things. Like, some parts of it kind of made me think of Chicago, like the musical, and some parts of it are very Rocky Horror. Like, there's very numerous things that I felt watching it, but all in all, it just looks like it's just going to be like a wild, fun experience, like overall.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned those. Actually, we didn't say it is a musical. So
it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, we didn't say that.
Yeah. So it is a glam rock musical.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear any of the singing though.
No, they kept all of that out. You just hear music a couple of times.
Yeah,
but that's it.
Yeah, you did hear singing in the bar in the club, but it was more like a slowed down jazzy song.
It wasn't. Yeah.
But it wasn't like singing and dancing.
They're saving it.
They're saving it. So yeah, but I'm in. So that one is actually we don't really have an air date, like a release date for that. It's actually currently being scheduled to premiere at the Popcorn Frights Film Festival in Fort Lauderdale. That's going to be August 11th. So if anyone's in Florida around August 11th, check it out.
Yeah. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
So our next trailer is for a movie called Herd. Now this one looks like it's going to be a Fright Fest one too, right? Yeah. So August 24th through the 28th of August at Pigeon Shrine Fright Fest. The short synopsis is: when a woman trying to outrun her past ends up trapped between a zombie outbreak and a warring militia group, she must fight to find her way back home. I mean, my first thought is I'm always ready for anything zombie related, but this is another queer horror piece. Yeah. That seems like it's gonna do some like can't be who we are to survive kind of thing. Like, you kind of get the impression that because of the type of people they're around, like she's in one part where she's like, oh yeah, we're roommates.
Yeah.
Which is such a common thing that's said. So but yeah, like the zombies look disgusting in this. They all have like big bulgy pimples on their face and they look like gross and bizarre, and it looks like, one of the things that I really liked about 28 Days Later was the military pieces and adding that dilemma of like, what are the people who were supposed to do good? What are they like when things go to hell, basically? Yeah. And so this looks like it's going to have a lot of layers to it. But it's very dark. Looks like it's going to be kind of gritty, and I'm here for the zombie stuff. So yeah.
I mean, you bring up a good point with the 28 Days Later. I mean, we both really liked the line at the end of the trailer. It was like, she was asking her like, why do you expect the worst from people? And then she answers like, from experience or something.
That's all she says. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, fair point.
I think I said that when I was watching it. I was like,
totally
that is also why I assume people are going to do the worst.
We only carry our baggage with us, right? I mean, that's that. So I'm wondering, right? I mean, based on being queer characters, I'm curious, like, what kind of backstory we're going to get from them, right? Because she talks about like her dark past. Or outrun her past, whatever. I don't necessarily say dark,
but we don't know anything about.
We don't know, right? So I'm wondering, right, like what she's faced as like a queer woman, and and clearly her partner has a different experience or a different outlook. Yeah,
she seems a little more sheltered from that specifically.
Yeah, which I mean is very interesting, right? I mean, I even see this sometimes. Like even between me and my husband, right? Like we had different coming out experiences. Some harder than others, and you see this a lot with couples, which I'm very curious to see in this movie, because you can sometimes, like, if you had a really hard experience, you could be super like not jaded, but like you'd be super like pessimistic, or like that affects you in different ways than if like you had like a super like warm coming out, and like people who were super supportive, and that might make you a little more optimistic. And so, and that really goes into future interactions, right? So I'm very curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, no, I think I Yeah, I agree. I think you always see the videos where it's like the parents are supportive, but for everyone that is, there's 10 that aren't, or
Yeah.
so like you do wonder what the journey, and then just the journey being existing in the world as that, and people, yeah. I mean,
it shapes your world like view becoming an adult, like after
okay.
those experiences.
Well, and I know, like, I won't harp on too much on this because it is like a news, like we're just talking about stuff. But I will say that, like, that's one of the experiences I used to have. Like, no, I haven't recently, but being in relationships with women and people thinking that I'm doing it to be cute or being disrespectful because they think like it doesn't mean anything because it's too like everyone's experience based on their their gender, their sexuality, their like, and going out into the world as yourself and being with someone that you love is very different. So be curious to see what's happened between the two before we get to this point, and if the partner knows what the past is or if it's also a secret from her.
I imagine. I feel like that makes for good drama. I feel like she does.
It's gonna, and she's gonna be like, yeah.
Big emotional turning point. But
totally agree.
So when is it? That's so that's that's going to be a festival. So we don't know when that's going to be released. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But our next one, we do know when it's being released, and that's Perpetrator. It's going to be on Shudder on September 1st, starring Alicia Silverstone, which is going to be cool to see. But very brief log line. Brace for a birthday surprise with a twist in Perpetrator as Johnny unravels her family's feral secret. Ready to join the hunt? So that's the log line.
I think you're right.
Oh, from my guess before?
Yeah, because the wording, I didn't read that before, but yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was definitely thinking. So it opens up with girls like in a private school, boarding school type of situation, and they're in a school shooting drill, but a very like unorthodox one where the principal like comes in and like squirts them with a water gun, and he's like, "This is the second time you've died this year." Like, that's a little traumatic.
It did make me laugh though, because it felt so over the top. I was like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, the world that we live in, I mean, these things are an unfortunate reality. But I think because of that, this is how we deal with our trauma, right? It's like sometimes we have to laugh at like the ludicrousness of it. But and then it turns into our lead character who is going through some changes. And she's, I guess, meeting with her school counselor to talk about them. And so what I was telling Angel before, it feels like it's going to be maybe a werewolf story where she's talking about cravings and urges and changes within her body. She's like, her fingers are changing, and then you see like all the teeth are sharp.
Not just fangs, like all of them.
But then there's almost like a shape shifting quick moment. So maybe it's not just werewolf. Maybe it is like, maybe they can change into other people as well. Remember that one shot?
Yeah, I think it could. Yeah, maybe it's something else entirely. Either way, though, looks good.
It does look really good.
And you might be onto something. I mean, the title is Perpetrator, so maybe it is something about shapeshifting and being able to deceive what you are, who you are. That might play into it because maybe it's not just a creature. Maybe it can be people.
Yeah. Well, it's being pitched as a feminist horror.
Yes, I saw that in some of the blurbs or whatever that were coming up during the trailer.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's obviously tackling violence against women in some way, or like this thing that's passed on.
Well, and our main character is a woman of color.
Is a woman of color? Yes.
Yeah. So you wonder like what that's gonna, how that's gonna tie into it. Because I'm sure it's gonna have some of those kind of themes as well. Yeah. I mean, I think it's really good. I'm excited about that.
Good. The style. I like the cinematography, kind of just the colors that they've used, the color palette that they've used. A lot of the shots are very dreamlike. It just feels like they're really like kind of on all cylinders with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say like dreamlike stuff. I mean, one of the comparisons in one of the blurbs was like David Lynch.
It was David Lynch meets John Hughes.
Hughes.
So I'm wondering where that 80s teen vibe is going to come in.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it looks really good. It has my curiosity for sure, because you, even from the trailer, they don't give you too much, but they do give you enough to want to know more, which is what trailers are supposed to do. Filmmakers, FYI. And so this, I think, did that pretty perfectly. We don't know anything.
No,
but it was enough to make me want to know.
It was like the perfect tease. It was
totally
just an appetizer or just a sample.
Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah, and so that takes us to our last trailer. This one creeped me out. It's a movie called Dear David, which is going to be in theaters and video on demand October 13th. October's a great month. We're going to be overloaded with stuff to talk about the next few episodes, I feel like, with October coming up right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just going to read like a short blurb. Shortly after comic artist Adam responds to internet trolls, he begins experiencing sleep paralysis while an empty rocking chair moves in the corner of his apartment. As he chronicles increasingly malevolent occurrences in a series of tweets, Adam begins to believe he is being haunted by the ghost of a dead child named David. Encouraged by his boss to continue the Dear David thread, Adam starts to lose his grip on what is online and what is real, based on the viral Twitter thread by BuzzFeed comic artist Adam Ellis. This was creepy.
It was a creepy trailer, right?
The trailer creeped me out, and then I went to go get something. I walked away from my computer to go get something, and I was like, it's creepy. This looks very creepy.
Yeah, it's definitely like well shot. I think the atmosphere is like it's actually, I know it's being released in theaters and on demand, so it's going to give a lot of people an opportunity to see this. So I'm thinking there'll be a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah, I have a hard time getting out to theaters. It's really difficult for me. And so, and I've been fortunate to go see a few things. I'm going to go see, by the time this is out, I will have just seen Insidious. But it's really hard for me. And I've said it a million times, I will pay ticket price to watch it at home. So I'm really excited because this is when I'm genuinely thinking this one's going to freak me out.
Yeah.
There's that shot where the hand, where it's like, I can't even.
It's very, very grudge-like.
Yes. Yeah. But the thing is like foreign horror does that normally so much better than we do. Ours usually looks like really cheesy and meh. This looks good. Like the effects and stuff, the way it's freaking me out just even thinking about it.
Well, and like a lot of foreign horror, like they're a lot of specifically Japanese horror, they're weaving in technology.
Yes.
And I didn't know about this viral Twitter thread until.
So I saw the comics in the trailer and I was like, I've seen those before.
Oh.
But I don't know that I've seen all of them or anything like that, but I know I've seen those drawings before.
So, I mean, I guess he's like he's an artist for BuzzFeed, the real life Adam and the movie Adam. But so I guess he does other stuff other than this horror. So yeah, it's probably did see a lot of stuff go around. But yeah, I'm very curious. That like, just that first shot of the boy, like crouching on the chair, it was like perfect. It was like the way it was like shaded, where it didn't come off cheesy. It kind of came, like you said, like it's like that grudge like feel, but like, yeah, no, a bit, because America doesn't usually do that too well.
No,
but I think it feels good. I appreciate, and then there's gonna be this whole backstory with the mother. And
it's very Ring.
Very Ring, yeah.
Instead of a bag over the head, she hits him in the head with something like it's very Ring, but more in a nod sense, not like a ripoff or anything. Like it didn't feel like The Ring, but there were some nuances there that kind of reminded me of it. But I love The Ring, so
yeah, no, definitely. And I'm wondering if they're going to use this as an opportunity to talk about, because he like internet trolling and like kind of the state of the way the internet is and how people behave online. It feels like they're going to kind of use this ghost story to comment on. So I'm going to be really curious to like what their message is going to be.
It's like statement horror. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause he says like die in a fire and then he keeps seeing that.
Yeah.
Like
his
lettering.
Trolling gets thrown back at him by David.
Yeah. Cause then he gets out of the shower and DIAF die in a fire is written on his mirror. And he's like, whoa. That's what I would do. First of all, I would never tell someone to die in a fire, period. But maybe a villain in a movie, but never a human being, like an actual person. But he's like, he like goes over and I'm like, oh, me too, man. Me too.
Oh, man.
Hell no.
Yeah. No, but it looks fun. It definitely looks good. Yeah. So it's going to be a good October kind of Halloween night rental, maybe.
Ghosty.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Definitely. And I think it's a good strategy because I know Five Nights at Freddy's is also going to do the theaters and VOD in October. Because I think a lot of people are going to want to have horror to watch.
Well, Five Nights is going to be on Peacock.
Right, it is on Peacock. It's not VOD.
It's going to be, you can watch it in the theaters or if you have the paid version of Peacock.
Yeah.
Just like Halloween.
Halloween did that too. Yeah. No, I think it's a great moment.
Which means I get to see that one too.
No waiting.
No waiting, which is good because I'm going into this one blind and it's killing me because we had to wait so long. October's forever away.
Yeah. I mean, the trailer's out. I know I covered it kind of separately.
Yeah,
as a
I'm
little
trying
edit
to stay.
kind of thing. So
this is hard. It's so hard being in the horror community in this way, like we are, and not have, because I think I told you I muted everything and I was still seeing stuff about it. And I was like, no, like scrolling like really fast. Anyway.
Some people like will screenshot stuff and then put it up. So then it kind of gets bypasses muting or I don't know if promoted tweets and stuff bypass.
I'm sure there's like a, it's, and to be fair, Twitter is very wonky about a lot of that stuff anyway, but I did try to mute it and I think I helped a lot because I haven't seen as much as I would have expected to. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm not watching it. I want to go in completely blind. Did you go see Insidious?
Yeah. Yep.
It's not a trailer in the front of Insidious, is it?
Oh, I think it might be.
No, I'm going to have to get up and walk out.
Just go like that.
I thought about it. The temptation, though, Steve. Like I thought about it after the fact, or because we're gonna go Friday, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I bet FNAF is one of the trailers for Insidious because I mean, timeline wise, that makes perfect sense.
And they're both Blumhouse,
huh?
They're both Blumhouse, right?
Oh yes, no, is Insidious Blumhouse? Yes. Yeah. You're right. I think you're right. But yeah, so I thought about that and I was like, no.
Yeah. So you're either gonna have to walk away or like just earmuffs.
So I just be like, I'll be right back. And I'm just gonna go out and like go back in. Well, because FNAF is PG-13.
It is PG-13.
So I'm pretty sure Addie's gonna let her kids watch it. They're big fans of, one of them is at least a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's the game. So anyway, sorry, but yeah. Anyway,
that segue
into our news story.
our one and only news story. So there is going to be kind of like an unofficial sequel to Army of Darkness in comic book form. So it's a new series by Tony Fleecs, who did Stray Dogs, Justin Greenwood, who did Stumptown. And it's called Army of Darkness Forever. And I believe it's coming out in October. I believe that's when the first one is being released. Nice. But this is actually spinning off of the alternate ending of Army of Darkness, where instead of, so when Ash, in the movie, Ash returns to his timeline in like 1993. He's, fighting Deadites in S-Mart.
Yep.
And that's how it ends. And it's like Hail to the King and all that stuff. In the alternate ending, in the deleted scenes, he misses his time and gets sent to like 2093. 100 years, kind of overshoots it by 100 years. And it's a post-apocalyptic setting that he gets stuck in, which is very interesting. Spoilers if you haven't seen Ash versus Evil Dead, though. So I don't know if you want me to say it or not.
I'm probably not going to watch it. I mean, maybe one day, but
that's how that ended. He ends up in the future. So they kind of take that like the alternate ending and make it their ending for the show.
Okay, I gotcha.
So they're kind of doing an alternate version. So this is a different timeline where if Ash didn't end up back in the 90s.
I see. Okay.
And it's going to retackle So it's going to, so I'll go kind of in the press release. So the story picks up immediately after the events of the beloved film, jumping between 3 fun timelines: the Techno Army of Darkness of 2093, the S-Mart Isles of 1993, and the Middle Age Chaos of Castle Kandar. All 3 get the spotlight in the series.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the general plot. So issue number 1, I'm like scanning this article. I don't see this release date unless it's at the very bottom. Oh, yeah, it's going to be October. So it's going to be October. I don't know how many issues it's going to be, but there's also going to be collectible trading cards.
Oh my God.
With these issues. So it almost feels like a very 80s, 90s kind of gimmick.
That's cool. That's cool, though.
Cards. Yeah, some trading cards that are coming out in September, actually, kind of leading up to the first issue.
I like that.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Army of Darkness, it's not my favorite, but I do appreciate the goofiness. It is more slapstick fantasy horror than like 2013 or Rise. So, but I have a soft spot for Ash. I like that.
I know you do.
Yeah. I'm curious, how they're going to lean into it, because comic book format, I haven't read it yet. I actually do have an Army of Darkness comic book that I haven't cracked open yet. And that's also supposed to be like a sequel. So it's going to be a different timeline. It's like a multiverse.
Oh, dang. So it'll be something totally,
another whole totally different thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how slapstick translates in a comic book.
I don't know.
So I feel like they're going to lean in maybe more of action horror. I feel like, because the way, so he's setting out to give fans of Ash Williams the ultimate story they've always wanted. So I have a feeling it's going to be kind of this badass post-apocalyptic Ash. And it's going to probably lean more into the action and horror. Because I just feel like the slapsticky stuff that Sam Raimi loves.
It probably gets lost in translation when you're reading it versus seeing it play out. I can see that, I can see that. I can see that being the case.
Would you read something like this? Or you're just like, maybe, maybe not?
No, I probably would. I didn't know about the alternate ending. I don't like Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Well, because it's silly.
It is.
And that's like not my thing. Like, I'm just not a silly horror person. It's just not my thing. So I'm very silly in real life. I have plenty of people that can attest to my insanity, but I think in my horror, I want grit is more what I'm going for. Which you know that, but it's but no, I would read that. Did you know, this is a very small side note, did you know that there's the Conjuring comics?
No.
I didn't know that either. So I just did the Conjuring live this past weekend, and my friend Al that was on it, they like text me after, and they were like, "Oh, like I have these," and like they sent me pictures, and I was like, "I didn't know this was a thing." And it's like a whole collection of stories around. I can't remember if it's like one or multiples of their like cases or whatever, but it looked amazing, and I was like, "What?"
That's really cool. Do you know idea. Do you know who puts it out? Like what company?
I don't. She sent me a lot of werewolf comic stuff too. She sent me a lot of comic stuff, so I have to go back and look. But I can send it to you, whatever she sent me.
Oh, please!
I think that's really cool. And I mean, I'm all on board for horror comics. Like I have several that I really love. That were just little short things, nothing like too extensive, but yeah, no, I didn't know that. I thought that was really cool. So this is definitely something I would check out. And I think the card thing is really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a fun gimmick.
It is fun. Yeah.
I love comic book continuations. You know, I was super into the Buffy comics when they started season 8.
I have some of those. Yep.
And onward, I think they ended with season 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And then they rebooted it. I haven't really. I have some of the reboot ones.
I haven't done any reboots. No. One of the ones that I have that's about Spike is autographed by James Smashers.
Oh, I love that. It was like the Spike miniseries, right?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. If it's like the newer one, because
it's like one of my most prized possessions.
Rightfully so. I mean,
yes.
I listen to his song from the musical episode like all the time.
So he had like a band, right? Like outside of Buffy, and so it was called. What was the name of it? Something in the Robot. Anyway, their like first single that they ever did was a song called Angel. And I was like, see, meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Anyway, I loved it, man.
It's a fun little trivia tidbit.
Yeah. You know when the first time I heard him speak without an accent, I cried. I was so sad. It was devastating. Because it's not real. It's fake. Giles is real.
Giles is
British, the other guy, oh my god. What is his name? Oh my god. It's over here. His like arch nemesis, the other guy, the guy with the dark hair. Ethan. He is really English as well. So though they are, but Spike is not. Spike's
You mean
English.
Wesley?
No, not. Oh, Wesley's also English. No, Ethan is the bad guy that brings the magic stuff, and he's
yes,
and he's like a part of Rupert's like past or whatever.
Yep.
Anyway, so but they are really English. And Wesley is too, but not Spike. Spike's English. But anyway, I digress. That has nothing to do with anything. But
no, it's a fun little tangent.
But yes, so I would absolutely read this.
Yeah, another good comic, horror. The Penny Dreadful continuation I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone likes that show, they continue that with like a season 4.
That's cool. I didn't know.
And they were able to sneak in some other Penny Dreadful like monsters, like they had like the Mummy and like.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, they were able to do like a lot more than the 3 seasons on the show.
3 seasons on the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
But that's so that's the scoop. So I'm looking forward to that comic.
That's cool. Don't
know if I'm going to get it issue by issue or wait for like the collection, like the trade, like the full.
Yeah.
I'll kind of see how I feel. We'll see. By the time.
I get that.
Down. But other than that, that's the scoop. That's what we have. And now we have some shout outs and recommendations. Angel, you want to start with yours?
Yeah. Do you want me to do both or one and one and one and one?
Oh, I have
2.
I have 2. So you do one and then I'll do mine.
And then do one. Okay. So I've also figured out the mystery behind how to say this, I think. It's mystery, like a mystery box. I think it's stirry. Would that make sense?
Stirry. Okay. Yep, I think so.
So I am diligently working on editing my unboxing video for this. There is more to come with it. But one of my recommends, I'll call this one a recommend and the other one a shout out, is a horror mystery box company called stirry.com. Right now they have the summer horror box. I'm assuming this is going to go into spooky season, so you probably still have a little bit to get it. I'm going to add to that in just a second, but that's where my fantastic ghost face cup came from.
Stunning.
It did have a little heart that said call me, but my 5-year-old stole it. It's now on his Spider-Man cup. Moving on. The short of this, because I won't, if I go too much into this, I'll just be like, heart eyes for the rest of the time. I got the smaller, it's like 3 options, I think. And so it's like a $50 option. I think like a $75 option. I think like $100 option. And you get like, whatever. And I wish I could show you him, but my 5-year-old stole him too. Anyway, I digress. You'll see the unboxing. I'll share around once I get it posted. This is by far the best horror mystery box I have ever gotten. I've done a couple of unboxing for some other ones, looking at you, Bam, that were incredibly disappointing every single time. This kicked it out of the park. Like when you knocked it out of the park, y'all know what I mean. When you watch the video, you'll see my genuine excitement. They ask you the things that you like and they cater to that. I got like 3 or 4 ghost face things. I got 16 items in my box.
Wow.
Okay. And the other thing that was really cool, and again, I think I have a picture. I do. I have a picture of him. So their exclusive item for this box is this adorable little bear.
Oh.
And so if you don't get the bear, you get a bag and a keychain that have him on it, but I got the bear. Mm-hmm. And he's so cute. He's like this big. Anyway, so I got like 16 items. I got some found footage related things. They kind of stuck with a slasher theme. Like this box pays attention to what you put. And I was just blown away by it. So I reached out to them and I asked them to kind of, if they wanted to like partner up and do some things. And so if you're interested in checking out Styrie.com and getting your own box, you can use voices, then the number 1010 at checkout and get 10% off.
That's great.
Voices, VOICES 10 at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your box.
I'm going to do that.
That's my recommend.
Well, I just love that it's personalized, right? A lot of
Oh
mystery
my
boxes don't do
God.
that.
And that it listened because they paid attention to what I put and everything else matched.
That's fantastic. No, that's really cool.
And they responded to me super fast. They were very enthusiastic and willing to work with me. I can't say, and I'm telling you, I know $50. I'm not saying that's throwaway money because God knows it ain't. But what you get for $50 though is I got so much stuff, and it's all great quality. Like I said, I'll have an unboxing video up very, very, very soon. It's going to be an additional video to my normal stuff, but I'm like in the video, I'm like overwhelmed with excitement. It's ridiculous, but they're fantastic. And now you can get 10% off your first box. I'm definitely going to get the big box, the big one for Halloween. I mean, I have to.
That's the time to do it.
Yeah, I have to. But this, I mean, yeah, I can't say it. I can't say enough good things. But anyway, that's my recommends. Sterye.com. STERYE.com.
Oh, I'm gonna be on there. My husband's not gonna be too happy, but I'm going on.
Use Voices 10.
I'm going to be using Voices 10. So my first recommendation is a book that I just finished. I might have mentioned it on the show before. Probably have. I've been like talking about it forever. It's the book version of Lovecraft Country.
You've talked about, but only briefly.
Probably briefly. So there was an HBO show based on the book. It ended after one season. It kind of works as its own mini series. But it's written by Matt Rupp. Came out in 2016. And it starts in Chicago, 1954, and it just kind of takes the Lovecraft lore that we all kind of know and are familiar with, not to a T, but he kind of takes that Lovecraft vibe and kind of puts it on a segregated 1950s backdrop. So our main character is Atticus Turner. He's African American. He served in the Korean War, and he's coming home and finds out that his father is missing, and so he kind of goes. So it starts off with him going on a journey with his Uncle George and their family friend Letitia, and they travel from Chicago to New England, which is Lovecraft Country. And so it kind of unravels like a family secret, kind of tied to slavery and kind of his escaped ancestor and kind of what happened to her, and it's really, really cool. And what I love about it, we're much like Buffy. Matt Ruff takes a lot of these supernatural motifs and uses them as metaphors for a lot of real cultural issues. And the show does it too. And what's kind of cool was what I liked because I watched the show first and went back to read this. I love kind of noting all the little differences. There's like some gender swap stuff that they did from the book to the show. Some characters actually survive in the book. There's completely show exclusive characters, book exclusive characters.
Interesting.
So it kind of felt like a completely new experience. It's a very cool read. It reads very episodically. So every chapter feels like you read they're all connected, but every chapter feels like a very complete story.
Interesting.
This is the witchcraft heavy episode. This is the possessed doll episode.
I get what you're saying. That sounds awesome.
So
I never watched the show because I had a feeling it was going to get canceled. So I was just going to wait and see how many of them got out. Yeah. And so, but then it was like just the one season. So I haven't watched it. It worked as a miniseries
though.
Yeah.
They end very similarly. Like the beats are pretty much the same. But I will say I'm only like maybe 80 pages in. But the sequel came out this year. I've been reading. Now I'm on the sequel. So Destroyer of Worlds is the sequel. And it just kind of continues their adventures. You're going to love this. I use this as my bookmark. It's a little fan art from Poltergeist.
Oh my God.
I have to find out who the artist was that did this because I just printed it on photo paper.
That's very cool. I love it.
Oh, there's like my ring light is like reflecting, but
I know I can see most of it. You may have to send a picture later.
I'll send a picture of it.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
So Lovecraft Country, read it, enjoy it. I laughed, I cried, I squirmed.
That sounds awesome. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with the books, my shout out is a book. Ronald McGillvray is what I would consider a friend. He's a big fan of Found Footage Friday, so he watches every episode. He's also a horror author. I own all 3 of his books that he has out so far. He has a book called James Adventures in Dreamland, which is it's sort of like a connected anthology of stories about a little boy who goes to sleep. And so I have that one because it's relevant to my son. So I got that one for him. So I've read some of that to him and it's great. I also have his anthology, Tales from the Parkland, which is really, really good. A lot of really good stuff in there. And then this is his first big chunky book. Cutter's Deep. Down a lonely stretch of highway stands the deserted and desolate town of Cutter's Deep, except it's not as desolate as it seems. In fact, there's quite a lot going on behind its decaying facade, and for those unfortunate to find themselves within its shadow, it's almost always deadly. Within its guarded walls lives a young man named Arlington Woods. He's about to meet an outsider who's going to trigger something hidden deep within him, and that just might destroy Cutter's Deep and the rest of the world with it.
It sounds good. I might have to check it out.
It's wild. Okay, so I stopped. My son moved my bookmark. Well, this was my bookmark. Son, I don't know where I was. I'm a little over halfway through it. I had paused. I was trying to read some stuff to get reviews done for people who have books coming out earlier. If you don't know, I'm a big supporter of indie writing as well. And so I paused reading it only because I was trying to meet these other deadlines. I'm a very slow reader. This book is wild. It is such a wild, it reminds me of like, God, what is it that I always think of? Like, did you ever watch Channel Zero?
Oh, yeah, I love Channel Zero.
Okay, so like if you put all of the stories in Channel Zero in like one episode, this is a wild book. The stuff that happens, the story, I've been a fan of Ron's writing even before I got this one. It's so fun. It's different. It's got so much going on. And I absolutely love it. It's really entertaining and it's a really fun story. And I'm like super excited to see what happens. Cause again, I'm just a little over halfway, not quite 2/3, but almost. And, cause I took a break and I just jumped back into it this week and it's highly recommend checking out Cutter's Deep and Ron's other stuff as well. He's awesome. A big supporter of the indie horror community. I mean, he's constantly sharing and supporting other people. And so that's my shout out.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to add it to my summer reading. That sounds
it's
really
wild.
cool.
It's a wild one. Like I would love to know your thoughts after you read. It's wild. But anyway.
Oh yeah. I have right now. This is what I got from the library today. Hold on. So after I read the sequel to Lovecraft Country, I'm reading these two books. This one called Dead 11.
Yeah.
It's actually R.L. Stine gave it a shout out. Yeah, it's like a people on an island creepy story. It's like a murder mystery situation, missing person. And then I got another Matt Ruff book, not horror, but I think it's like sci-fi fantasy.
Ooh.
So cool. I like his style.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm gonna try to read his collection. So that I will put that on the list.
You should. It's awesome. And it's supporting an indie author. Ron's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So my other recommendation is I finished watching, I guess, I know they have been putting out new seasons and I don't know why I wasn't keeping up with them, but the Slasher series, do you want to
yeah.
Slasher, yeah. So I finally watched seasons 4 and 5. I just kind of binge watched 16 episodes over the last week. I really was impressed with the Ripper season. So it was 1904 Toronto.
I've only seen the first 2 seasons.
The first 2. So it was the snowy, it was the camp counselors one.
That's the second one. And then the first one was the baby one where there's the woman is she was actually the baby of the murderer or whatever.
The victim. Yeah. So that
one was really good. The second one was a little slow, but anyway, go ahead.
The second one was a little, it picks up with season 3. I think season 3 Solstice is good. But yeah, and then after that was when it moved to Shudder from Netflix. But I really
good for them. Huh? It's safer. I said good for them. It's safer on Shudder. It's safer on Shudder.
Shudder lets it fly. It lets it thrive. Well, what was really cool in Ripper was Eric McCormack from Will and Grace is in it.
Cool.
He plays a really good villain. He's not spoiling there's a lot of villains.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not.
He was like,
No. There are a lot of villains. What I like, what they've started to do a lot, and Slasher has done this kind of since season 1, is that so many of the characters are flawed. Like so many people they're just like
good,
and it was like Ripper was kind of about like, bad people getting their just desserts. It was really cool. It was just kind of like it was very much in a world where Jack the Ripper was that was happening, and that was kind of in the back of everyone's minds.
Yeah.
But these new kind of murders are happening, and it was all tied to like a previous death and possible wrong conviction. I love this one actress. I've been following her.
It's got some layers.
It's got some layers. It has. So the one actress, she's been in a bunch of the slasher seasons. Paula Brancati. I've been following her since Degrassi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, Jane from Degrassi.
Jane.
She is so good because she'll go from like playing like an absolute sweetheart in one season to just a completely vile.
She's well rounded. Yeah.
The range that she's got is like incredible.
I need to pick that one back up. 2 turned me off of it. I watched like a few episodes. So season 2 is like heavy Degrassi people.
It's got Ali Bondari.
It's got like 5 of the people. I was like, dang, I know this person and this person and this person and this person. I was like, dang.
Yeah, but Degrassi people are all in this. Are all in slasher. Like, so Paula Brancati is kind of the biggest one
because we like them from
that. So Christopher Jacot. He was Mr. Oleander with Paige.
Oh yes.
So he's in it. So he's gay in real life, and I don't remember in past. So he's played a gay character in seasons 4 and 5. So he's like really all about kind of playing like true to himself, and so that's been really kind of cool to see. Slasher has become very progressive in terms of like queer representation.
That's great.
It's been really cool to see, even in times where it's like, well, yeah, I mean, people wouldn't be super open, like because Ripper takes place in 1904. But it was really cool to see, like, because there was a lot of like prostitution and like there's a lot of like the seedy side of Toronto. Yep. So, but within that, it's like people taking care of their own, and like it was really kind of cool to see.
And that is season 3, or that's a different season.
So Ripper is season 5.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay.
3 is Solstice. That's on Netflix. Flesh and Blood is a weird one. It's a wild one. It gets really campy, but. And I won't talk about it because I can kind of go on forever. But like, can't be not.
It sounds like I should get back into it though, because 2, like I said, 2 kind of. It felt like it just took too long, and I was like, and I ended up watching. This is why I was telling you when we talked about you doing horror shows. I'm horrible about them because I either never get to them, it takes me too long to finish, or I give up.
That's why I'm going to do some like horror. Like, it may be like. For those, it may be like a weekly recap of like the shows of the week, whatever. Or it could be like the show comes out and like that night or the following morning, there'll be like a quick little, so we're going to kind of see how that.
I mean, I've been watching the Chucky series for over a month and I'm still only on episode 6. I'm just really slow moving. Well, and you know this, I do the virtual date nights and we rotate. We don't always watch horror. We rotate who picks and stuff, which if you're watching this, that's so important in a relationship. If you're in a relationship where you only watch what one person wants to watch, I'm just saying, like, mix it up. Watch what each other wants to watch. Like, don't just like limit it. Because I used to have to watch a lot of stuff by myself and watch stuff I didn't want to watch, and it made me miserable. So switch it up. We just watched, what was the sci-fi movie we just watched? Tomorrow War.
Oh yeah.
Loved it. I've already seen it, but she had not seen it and she really loved it. But we mix it up. We watched different
Amazon,
things.
Right? Tomorrow War, Chris Pratt.
Yes. And then what we watched? Yes. You know what we watched before that? Is my first time watching it. Frozen.
Let it go.
That was her pick. Conceal it, don't feel it.
Yeah, I remember watching. I saw that in theaters.
I avoided it for the longest time because I was like, I'm so tired of hearing people talk about this damn movie. But then it was her pick basically. I mean, she'd wanted to watch it with me anyway because she really likes it. But I was like, I'm going to watch it. We're going to watch it together. So we did watch it virtually the other day. And so just to give you an idea of the range of stuff that we watch on these virtual dates. And so I don't have time to watch TV horror. Like, so it'll be great that you get more into those anyway. But it sounds like slasher is something I need to get back into.
Yeah, no, it's been fun these last 2 seasons. I'm like, wow, why have I not been watching these? These have been like so refreshing and like
I felt that way about the first one.
Yeah, it's like what I wish American Horror Story was doing. Like, that show goes off the rails. This show goes off the rails, but in a way that feels organic to the show. Like,
I get that.
Where American Horror Story is like, we're just going to throw in all these random elements. Whereas in
and then
Slasher,
in 3 seasons, we'll circle back and connect them all.
Yeah. But with Slasher, it's like, how can we go in a campy direction, but in a sense, in the way that just like, how can we amp the character tension and just go wild rather than introducing stuff that makes no sense, right? It's more of like, how can we elevate this?
Cool.
Like there's a scene, I won't spoil, but there's a scene in Flesh and Blood, which is season 4. And it's a wealthy family kind of fighting for the patriarch's wealth. And so it's 3 women in a kitchen, and they just get into this all-on like Kill Bill level brawl where they're just like throwing each other, breaking glass, stabbing each other with bottles. It just gets so like,
wow, okay,
but like in a fun, like this makes sense because these people hate each other kind of way. We're not just throwing in some random story.
No, I get what you. It's still cohesive. Yeah,
it still made sense with it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, check that out. I'll take back into that one.
So that's my other long-winded recommendation.
Very passionate about our recommendations tonight.
Very passionate.
Yeah. So okay, well, that's episode lucky 13, right?
It is. I think it's lucky. The Italians think it's lucky. So I'll.
Yeah.
My fellow paisans know what I'm talking.
This was the perfect episode to do our announcement. Actually, then I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Wow. See, that was a missed opportunity. But you know what, though? For the thumbnail, I'm going to be putting the 13.
Do it to it. And if you have forgotten, since the last when we met last, we have merch. And it comes in many forms. It comes in shirts. It comes in cups. It comes in stickers and magnets and all kinds of fun things. And so far, my experience with this shop has been really good. I think the shirts are great. Like, I was worried it was going to like fade or peel, but it really didn't. And I washed it like I normally do. I did not do special care.
Yeah, no, the wash didn't do anything.
No, it still looks really bright and fun. And you've been happy with the cup. And so I'm going to get stickers for mine for the next time we record. But anyway, so the link for that will be in the description for this episode. So you can get your own Crypt gear. Are you sure that shouldn't be the thumbnail?
Sure. Yeah, actually, why not? At this point.
Anyway. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Enjoy
you.
the rest of your amazing Sunday. Have a great week coming up. And Steve and I will see you really soon.
See ya.